I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're diving into one of the most crucial geopolitical battles of our time. And we're discussing a powerful book. It is called U.S.-China Relations in the 21st Century, The Politics of Confrontation versus the Politics of Competitive Coexistence. It is written by an amazing author. His name is Chandan Kamble, and he dissects the rising tensions between two global superpowers, exploring how trade wars, territorial disputes, and economic strategies are shaping the future of international relations. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Prime 7 Media for helping us put him in the spotlight today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. And be sure to download the Spotlight Network TV app streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Chandan, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight. I wanted to ask you, are relations between the United States and China at an all-time low right now? Are they pretty bad?
I think so. Because Chinese premier just about a week ago made an open declaration against the war against the United States. And it said, if the United States really, besides the trade or besides any really up to the war, China is ready. This is a statement just about a week ago. Second thing, if you look at the map, what I call the international politics in a cartographic flux, if you look in the entire map of the world, you see the conflicts everywhere. But there is no other conflict which will going to shape the political cartography of 21st century is between United States and China. Why is it so? Because when China joined the World Trade Organization in 2001, the West and the United States in particular was very optimistic that the China will follow the international rules of trade, or for that matter, international law and human rights. But China was tremendously preoccupied with taking over the United States. It technologically, economically, and geopolitically, within a decade, China has taken almost, with the exception of military, China has taken over the United States. It is not by the fair game. It is not by the fair trade. It is by unfair trade practices. The companies which you work in China, their intellectual copyright, and even the false rate of exchange between two countries. Mr. Logan, China is in a hurry to become not only a superpower, but the mighty power to supersede the United States at every corner of the world, from the Cook Islands to Sudan to Ukraine, having relation with Russia.
Do you see a path forward?
So, in nutshell, to answer your question, is this: the China is in a belligerent mood. On the side of the United States is also, the rhetoric is also not a reconciliation, a peaceful coexistence, because of the tariff President has imposed on Mexico, on China, on Canada, on the Western Europe, is also disturbing so-called the spirit of conciliation. So it is on both sides. When two elephant fights, it is the grass gets stifled. And my audience are pretty aware that when two elephants are fighting, it is the common man, both in Canada, UK, India, are getting stifled. So there needs a congenial equilibrium, is what I call in my book also a spirit of compromise, somewhere a reconciliation in order to establish a tranquility, peace in a fragmented world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you see any viable path toward true cooperation between the two countries?
I am optimistic, but optimism, I am also I'm not idealist without an illusion. I believe there is a tactical alliance in the world politics between Russia and China. And the United States have to take that also into consideration. If the United States try to alienate European powers, which I defer, because Europe and the United States on one side with the NATO members has a formidable military geopolitical strength in bringing world together peacefully. But the President of the United States want to alienate Europe, try to look down upon a very, very cultured neighbor like Canada, which is an integral part of a political and cultural ethos of this country. The world is not going to have a peace because this polarity, alienating Europe, alienating other countries, United States philosophy, America first. I challenge that premise of America first. According to me, the American leadership must be first. And in order to have that leadership of FDR, Harry S. Truman, John F. Kennedy, and even Barack Obama, that is the leadership of the world. They never imposed that America should be first, but the American leadership be in the first. That is my humble position. Therefore, when the United States look down upon my Canadian brothers across the border, I feel, what are we doing? What is happening in this country? Who are the foreign policy advisors behind this administration?
Let's
So,
talk.
to answer your, go ahead, sir.
I was going to say, China faces its own internal challenges as well, such as corruption, environmental crises, Uyghur separatism. Could these issues strengthen its global power in the long run?
That's a very good question. I'm glad you. Externally, China has given impression to the world that our technological advancement, economic growth of 5% and 6%, GDP, chat, AI, all this is an external international demonstration of its so-called relative economic. But according to me, China is internally a mutilated country. International community is not very aware exactly what is happening inside China. I'm so glad that you raised that question about inter. Take for example, a territorial disputes with China. China has territorial disputes with 18 countries, out of which 14 countries it shares the border. It is assertive geopolitical cartography, with the major exception of Taiwan. China's South Sea China is the flashpoint of 21st century's war. But let us go to remain on the track. As far as Uyghur ethnic conflicts are concerned, they are being treated as a subhuman. That is a question of human right. As far as environmental concern, debt problems, all this problems China internally facing: the environment, the urban transformation from the rural to urban, the fertility rate, internal economic inequality, internal problems of China has not been exposed by the international community and scholarly community, because the world is only obsessed with China's 5% economic growth. Second point is this, sir, China is not America. Its political institutions, its party structure, its communist ethos, its history from 1949 up till today is not compatible with the Jeffersonian democracy.
Yeah.
Aristotle once said, a democracy, if I have to give a grade to autocracy and democracy, I will give the lowest grade to democracy, because democracy is slow, chaotic, and inefficient.
Yeah.
But yet, with that speed for 240 years, this country is one of the outstanding example for the world to emulate. And Britain is the mother of all parliaments. This is a very civilized country. So what I'm saying, make a distinction between internal political dynamics of China and an external facade of its competing with 5% GDP and the trade. China is deceiving the world, and the United States has to be extremely careful. Final part, why United States has to be careful? When the United States attacked Iraq in 2003, China GDP was just 8 of the United States. When the United States came out of a war in Iraq in 8 years, China GDP is almost equal to the United States. So the difference within 8 years, a developing country having United States involved into unnecessary wars, it was able to cope and compete with one of the mightiest power on this planet, and that is the United States. So United States has to be extremely careful where it chooses to fight or to negotiate. The final point I would like to make and submit to your distinguished host, that I was lucky to present my point of view. United States must understand the eternal vigilance is the price of liberty.
Wonderful. Powerful words in this interview, powerful words in this book. The name of the book is U.S.-China Relations in the 21st Century, the Politics of Confrontation versus the Politics of Competitive Coexistence. It's a powerful book, and it dissects the rising tensions between the two global superpowers, exploring how trade wars, territorial disputes, and economic strategies are shaping the future of international relationships. Chandan, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
I'm honored. After reading your biography, every day I was looking forward to seeing you with this distinguished audience and a distinguished host. I am the ultimate beneficiary of your invitation. And thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. The honor is all mine. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.